Oh, hey, Alice. Thanks for joining us here at the new space. We're still getting it figured out, but I've got my shrine set up now. So thanks for being here. We have a very special guest with us tonight, DeCorsey from I Am the Polish Army. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thanks
So,
for having me, Alice.
Yeah, of course. How long have y'all been here?
I moved to Nashville in 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay.
So I guess that makes it 3.5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's around the time we started. I started this show in April 2020.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. I think we officially landed here in May.
That was
Yeah.
That was a good and a bad time for art.
It was an interesting time. I think art was pretty far from my mind at the time, to be honest.
Oh, okay. So you didn't come here for music.
Oh no, I definitely came here
Okay.
for music, but with everything that was going on, you're
Yeah.
thinking like, am I ever gonna make music again? I mean, like, is there ever gonna be music again? Did it all just disappear?
Did you get any writing done in that time?
Actually, no, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
I didn't finish the song until 2021.
Gotcha. Where does the name come from? It's a very interesting name.
The name comes from my being a literature student when I was 19. It's a play by Alfred Jarry. I don't know if you know the band Pere Ubu, but their name is from the same play. So it's an absurdist play about bourgeoisie French proletariats who just it's a little bit of like a proletariat uprising kind of play, and it's about among other things, it's about little people, it's about the underdogs getting shit done.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So y'all are a three-piece kind of.
Yeah, I keep it to a three-piece. I've played 1 or 2 shows over the years with more than 3 like a special guest guitar player or something like that.
Yeah.
I believe in the sanctity of the power trios.
Yeah. Did y'all, I know you said you're from New York. Did you guys mostly play in New York City before?
Mostly, yeah. We did a couple short tours when the first record came out and when my solo EP came out. But yeah, we mostly around the East Coast.
Right on.
Yeah.
So I have some very off-topic questions for you. Something I ask everybody is if they have any ghost stories.
Ooh.
And when I say that, putting the label of ghost on it kind of puts it in a box. But yeah, I think you know what I mean, though. Like anything that you can't readily explain.
Yeah, dang. I mean, I'm sure I've definitely played haunted places, and I've been to many haunted places and confirmed haunted places, but I don't know that I have ever like definitively felt the presence of the beyond. Now, I have a very, very good friend who worked on Ghost Adventures.
Okay.
As a sound operator, and so he like has actual experience recording ghost sounds. And I've heard that, and it's pretty cool.
What do you think about that when you hear it?
I never know if it's like, it's a TV show.
Sure.
So like, are they making it up? Really? But like according to my friend Mike, I mean the host of that show like really believe it. So I'm like, as long as I mean it seems like everybody that works on that show is on board behind the scenes too. So
gotcha.
That helps me believe.
Yeah, I mean, if that's definitely reassuring.
I 100% believe in the beyond and that spirits are among us and around us. But yeah, as far as like having a direct like oh my God, there's like a presence in the room right now. I can't say that I have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's I never really I was raised like very religiously,
yeah,
and when I turned 18, like I moved out of my parents' house and
yeah.
got like really far away from that. And uh I never experienced anything weird or
Mhm.
paranormal until like I sought it out. Like
Yeah.
I went looking for it.
Mhm.
But I think like basically people who like seek out that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, or like children, like are
Mm,
really, that's where a lot of the stories I've heard come from.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember my mom has had one or two experiences. And I remember when I was little, we were visiting her dad's farmhouse in Chile, and her grandmother had just died, and she woke up in the middle of the night. She swore that her grandmother was like there and telling her things, and that she wanted her to look for like this thing in a closet. I don't know what it was, and like she opened the closet and it was in there.
Mm.
Like, so
It's intuition,
yeah.
being guided.
Mhm,
Yeah,
for sure.
I've definitely experienced things like that too. I think we're way smarter than we realize.
Mhm,
Like, um, the conscious mind is just like the tip of the iceberg.
mhm,
I think that anything is possible outside of like breaking physics.
mhm.
Like I've had a lot of encounters with like spirits or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, but I've never seen like something levitate. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Mhm,
it's all like always inside.
mhm,
And I don't really like, that's like the skeptical kind of Occam's razor answer to that would be that it's just all in your head.
mhm.
Um, I think the question is kind of framed wrong. Like it's not in or inside your head or exterior. It's something else.
Mhm.
Like a combination of the two, or neither of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind
Yeah.
of feel like you have like if you're as like if you're in tune with like the energy field, or like if you're if you're like an acceptor, of that there really aren't any barriers. I think you're definitely aware of it.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm gonna cut off this here.
oh, okay. Do dreams count? Do dreams count?
Yes.
Like, do you visit dreams count? 'Cause
Yeah.
I do have friends that have passed on that visit.
I would love to hear about it.
Yeah. It's funny because like, my grandmother passed away also in 2020. And we were super close. I miss her terribly. I just absolutely adore her. Like, but she doesn't visit me at all. But I have this friend that I worked with, just my coworker, when I first moved to New York, one of my first jobs. We worked together for like 4 years. She also passed away early 2020, right before COVID. And she visits me. She comes to my dreams all the time. Oh, I don't know what she wants. I know what she's trying to tell me. And the dream is always that like we're in the store and we're working together. Yeah. Like this with the same gang and all, and all that. So like I don't know why she wants to hang. I'm desperate for her to. I'm like, please tell me why you want to hang.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad got a job there when I was 5. And none of my family had ever lived there before or been there before. So it was like a whole adventure for all of us.
You have siblings?
I do, yeah, I have a brother who's
Okay.
younger.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did your parents religious?
Um, kind of and not really, and yes. They were both raised in the Christian tradition. My dad was raised, I guess, in Methodist, and he had a very close friend and mentor who was a Methodist minister for his team. But he didn't practice. And my mom was raised Catholic, and she just couldn't wait to get as far away from that as possible. But being, once a Catholic, always a Catholic with certain things. And she loves like the rituals and the iconography and all the spooky shit and all the witchy shit. And she adores horror movies. which is really, really funny to me.
Yeah.
She loves horror movies, and especially, she likes ghost movies, she likes haunted house movies, and she really likes it if they're like in a creepy church. And so she, when we were kids, she tried to, I think she started with Methodist, which, there's tons of that in Wisconsin, so, that was easy to find. So she started with that, wasn't really down with the, with the, how they felt about women and
Yeah.
and anybody who, was the, conforming heterosexual, what do you call that? Oh, there's a term for it, the family, what,
It's like very traditional.
yeah, the traditional family kind of thing. So
Yeah,
she,
Methodist very like
wasn't,
conservative.
yeah, very, very, yeah, wasn't down with that at all. And when I was in my early, maybe not quite teens, like maybe 12, she had a total Wiccan phase.
Hmm.
And this is 90s Appleton, Wisconsin, right? So, this is a thing that's like very, very, very hush hush. And like, this is not the like mainstream Gen Z, witchy stuff on TikTok. This is
Yeah.
like very, these are like hippie ladies that are, have to be very careful, like with, people.
Your mom sounds awesome.
My mom is awesome. I love her. So yeah, she and these other women met at like the one like, candle and crystal store in town. They all met there, and they had a coven, and they did, they did rituals together on all of the pagan holidays.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing. So, being 12, like, this was cool for me. And
Yeah.
especially because, I like hanging out with grown-ups.
Sure.
Yeah, and then that sort of died away for a little while, but it was an important time for her. It was a very like feminist, like reclaiming, like, time
Yeah.
for her. And it was I think it was, it was a thing that she very much needed.
So it sounds like formationally, like you got both sides of this
Oh yeah,
thing,
yeah.
like pretty early on.
Yeah, and I learned later that, my grandfather was a psychiatrist, and like totally in the yeah, I mean, the height of his career was in the 60s. So, and one of the first like Chilean, like free and Jungian psychoanalysts.
Yeah.
And, so he totally like read Crowley and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I recently found out that Freud was Orthodox Jewish, and he had adopted
right.
a lot of the Bible into, or the Torah at least, into his practice, which I find so fascinating. Like,
yeah.
Like,
you forget that Freud was Jewish. It's not
yeah.
commonly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I found out that he kind of mentored Jung in a lot of ways, and he wanted Jung to adapt what he was saying, because he's like, no one's going to listen to me because I'm Jewish. And so he got Jung on board, who was like also very religious, like very Christian.
Yeah.
And he took the foundation of what Freud did and tried to like popularize it. I thought that's so fascinating.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
there's a Freud museum in London, which is like one of the houses that he lived in, and they have the couch. Like you can see the couch. It's the most exciting thing. They have the couch like more or less like as he left it.
That's awesome.
It's the best part of the thing.
If I'm ever in London, I'll definitely go check that out.
Yeah, it's totally the best part of the thing.
Yep. Have you ever been betrayed?
Oh yeah.
How do I? That's a hard question. It's a hard thing to like articulate, but was it business? Was it romantic?
Romantic and one or two romantic betrayals and one or two friend betrayals too.
That's I think loyalty is like really important, and because like I've been there too.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to come back from. Like it makes you untrusting of not just that person, but of people.
Yeah. I guess your head into a really like, you keep questioning like what it like, did I really do something, and
where does when you write,
Mhm.
where do you think, where does that start? Like, where does that come from for you?
I've almost seen my writing as like internal like like language that like needs to be expressed. Like I don't feel that I have the control over it. I mean, it's like if I mean there it's like stuff that like I mean if it wasn't in there I wouldn't need to say it, it just like has to come out. And it's I mean I'm not very prolific, and I don't, I mean, we're all busy, and
Yeah.
and we all, your one's survival is like, ends up taking precedence over most things.
Sure.
So it's probably not totally true that I don't have time to write, but I do try to like get it like in a as a concise, as concise a way as I can, since time is limited. And I don't, yeah, but it's like I feel that like when stuff's like ready to come out, it's like, it's like formed. Like, I think the more that you do it, and the more, especially I mean, playing with a band is like really the most helpful thing, because now I can really like, before I had the band as a unit, like, I would write songs and I wasn't really sure how they were gonna like fit in with the arrangements, or how like other people were gonna listen to them. But now like, after I've been playing with Turner and Eric, who are like the core band in Brooklyn, like everything just, I mean, I got to know like how they operated so well, that it's just like when I write songs now, it just like I can hear like exactly what they're gonna do, and so that really helps the songs come out in a more kind of finished way.
That's
So
awesome.
the arrangements are very minimal at that point, but I do have to start with music though. I can't write lyrics and then write music to the
Oh,
lyrics.
okay.
I do have to
Gotcha.
start with the music.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That seems, at least as far as music concerned, that
Mhm.
seems like I think a better way to do it, in my opinion.
I mean, everybody has, I mean, I know a lot of writers that do the writing first and then write the music
Sure.
around it.
Yeah. I guess there's not a wrong way of
No,
doing
yeah,
it.
yeah, there's all kinds of ways.
Yeah. I don't play music, but I write poetry.
Oh, very cool.
I'm working
Yeah.
on a fantasy novel right now.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
Thank you.
That is so cool. Yeah.
Writing a book is it's a big undertaking. You've
Yeah,
been
I
working
see.
on it for
I've
years.
never written anything that's longer. Like I can't write anything that's longer than like 4 pages. The long form thing is like, I would so love to do that, but it's like I mean, it's like it seems like unfathomable to me to write like an entire book.
Well, I know what you mean about like finding time, and it's not always a time thing. It's like it's time plus energy, because we're all so tired too.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's like it's exhausting.
Yeah.
To live right now.
Yeah, but it sounds like art is very much like an outlet for you to
Yeah.
get things out.
And it's like it's important. It's just like, just it feels like like the most important thing that I do.
Yeah, I think
Besides be a good person, and
Sure.
a good family member.
For me, like it's kind of like, what else is there
Mhm.
to do
Yeah.
with our time?
Yeah, I mean, I always like I just always thought that art was the most important thing in the world, like
Yeah.
as a kid, like whatever that was, whether you were a musician or a writer or a painter or whatever.
It's a very
Filmmaker.
it's a very serious
Yeah.
profession that I don't think gets the kind of reverence that it deserves.
It really doesn't. I was reading last night. I'm just the stock. I don't think, I'm not sure if it's out yet, but it's the documentary about John Batiste. And he I was reading a review of it, and it was like quoting was something that he said at that it was during a Black Lives Matter rally, and it was all about how at its like music is like, to him, this music is just, it's not entertainment, it is so much deeper. And I was just like, it's like more people need to say this. It's not just, we're not just making people, I mean, at least for me, I mean, like, God bless all the musicians that are out there to make people happy and give them a good time and give them a good show. But like, yeah, for me, it's so deep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's connected to the spiritual, I think.
Oh, totally.
Like some of the best stuff I do is it just I couldn't tell you where that came from. It just popped into my head and I'm like, did I do that?
Yeah,
You know?
right. Yeah, it's like where I know that's like sometimes, yeah, like lines for songs will come to me like that too. It's like, what does it mean? I mean, there's a song on our second album, which is still forever. Like I mean, no, it's gonna come out at some point. I have no idea when, but there's a song on it called Red 40. I usually play it in the sets, and the line of the chorus is "You're gonna make me," and like I had no clue what that meant when I wrote the song. I just heard it, like, and I think I've like figured out. It's been like 3 or 4 years now, and so like I'm like kind of figuring out what that means as I go along.
I know exactly what you mean. Like sometimes I'll write something and then years later be like, I didn't realize I did that.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
right.
Life is insane.
Life is insane, actually.
What
Yeah.
speaking of life,
There's another song that I wrote like 10 years ago. That like, and it hasn't been on an album, but I think I'm gonna try and arrange it for the next one. And there's a line in that one that's this does not happen in the world as it is. And I mean, like that, I mean, I wrote that then and I understood it, and now it's just like, I can't believe I wrote that. It was just like, it's like now it feels like totally prophetic.
this doesn't happen now as it is.
Yeah, this does not happen in the world as it is.
In the world as it
Yeah.
is. Huh, I like that. That's cool. Speaking of life and how weird it is, what is the meaning of life? We're figuring it out. We're figuring out all the hard questions today.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be amazed if I have an answer for that before I die.
I don't have an answer for that. I'm just genuinely asking.
No, I really do.
Let me know.
I do kind of think that we're supposed, I mean, we're maybe supposed to figure it out, or maybe not.
Or maybe not. Maybe we'll never figure that out.
Yeah, so that might be the fun part. That might be the joke.
Yeah. The cosmic
the
cosmic giggle.
Yep.
That's what Terrence McKenna.
No.
He was like a big he died in like 2000 or 99, but he was a really big like psychonaut. He was also
wow.
He like really popularized before it became like super mainstream, like back in like the 90s. He really popularized like DMT and like mescaline.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He's also a what do you call that? Like an herbologist. Like he's except no, but he studied mushrooms. So it's
cool. Yeah.
Can't remember. Mycologist.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. But he has this thing he talks about called the cosmic giggle, and just the joke that is this.
Yeah.
For me, I think I metaphorically or literally, I'm not too sure myself, but I worship the concept of knowledge, like the learning and then teaching.
It's so important.
It's a big
it's one of the most important things in the world for sure.
It's a big part of why I do this, because like this is more for me than anything. Like, I just love talking to talented people, and like I talk to a lot of artists, but I want to branch out and talk to people in STEM fields too.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Because of the kind of conversation I'm having here is like, I feel like I can get some answers there too. But I think one of my like core things is knowledge and like authenticity. Like being true to yourself, being true to others, and I'm getting, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to understand that I don't want to know everything. Whereas like there are some things you don't want to know. I don't want to know what it feels like to have my leg broken.
No,
right? But it's as far as like it goes practically, like trying to learn as much as I can and then share that with people. It's my own kind of like trinity, because like you have the teacher, you have the student, and you have the knowledge itself.
Oh, I love that.
I think that's one of the most important things you can do is like art and like teachers, super undervalued. Like one of the most important things you can do. Yeah, I have a lot of anxiety about the world. Like things are
It's
hard.
hard, it's tough not to. It's really tough not to, the way that things are going.
Yeah. And I can't, I have a hard time relaxing just in general.
Yeah, I do too.
Like on my own. And um having like other people to have these conversations with like really helps,
Oh,
I
that's
think.
great. Yeah.
Um
Well, you're not looking, you're actually, you're having a conversation. You're not like looking at the news or looking at your
Yeah.
phone or anything.
Yeah. Like
You're
human
kind of,
connection and
yeah.
art, like the connection between an artist and an audience is like also very spiritual. It's that handing down, like I was talking
Yeah.
about. Do you get a lot of joy out of playing for a live audience?
I get really, I still get really nervous about it, and there was a long time where like the nervousness and the anxiety about it would just kind of take over, but I think I'm like finally getting to a point where I'm like, I can just like be in the music with the group.
Yeah.
And
It sounds like,
and not be afraid of the audience.
yeah, it sounds like your band makes that really easy too.
Yeah,
You really mesh well.
I have a really good group here.
Well, congratulations
So,
on that.
thank you.
On finding.
Thank you. Yeah, it took a little bit, but
Yeah, I like I said, I moved out. I was I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, okay.
I was also homeschooled, so I literally knew no one outside of my church. And I moved out when I was 18. I'm 27 now, and what you do is really important. Like live music saves lives.
Oh, for
And
sure.
that very quickly filled that need for community that I had. And that like it's honestly like it's a very spiritual thing. Like it's like being at church except way cooler.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like people like Nashville musicians really get that.
Yeah.
I think all of, I mean, there were very, very few shows that I've been to here that weren't like, where like everybody is just like totally committed, totally into it. Like, you get, there's Broadway where you're selling, that you're selling entertainment, but like,
Sure.
but like, yeah, off of Broadway, like around East Nashville and yeah, I mean, I just feel like musicians are so deeply committed.
Yeah, especially when they're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, and they care so much.
Yeah. We have it's definitely got its issues, but we have a good community here.
Oh yeah, no, the community's amazing. I really didn't think it was gonna be like this.
Yeah.
And it's really genuine. I think people like really genuinely like want to help each other out and play together and there's a lot of competition, unnecessary competition in New York,
Well, we got that here too. I've
Oh, well,
definitely,
yeah,
I've seen
I mean,
both sides
there's
of it.
not, I mean, there's always gonna be there, especially when there's still like what's left of a music industry, a lot of it's here, so. There's that too, but I think, yeah, for the most part, I think that the community is really genuine.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place, and there is like it doesn't have to be competitive. Like if you're looking at it that way,
Yeah.
I guess it is, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't have to be.
And I don't think people do themselves any favors. Like I know people that like came here from like California or like Texas and or New York and like kind of Chicago.
Oh yeah, Chicago.
Chicago's huge. And like I'm gonna go there and like do a thing, and it is competitive. And like people here too, people who grew up here do the same thing.
Yeah.
But like that's not helping you when you do that. Like it's like if you ever like it's a small town.
Yeah.
And people will get a reputation of like this person's an asshole. They didn't even stick around for the rest of the bands that played.
Yeah.
It's like so I think it
oh that's definitely a thing, especially with DIY shows.
Yeah.
No, you want to support.
You want to stick around and like just know like I know all these bands, but like a lot of them don't know each other. And there is definitely, you're right, there is definitely a great community here. I'm trying to bring people from like all sides, like sit down at one table. Like I'll talk to like punks out of Murfreesboro or the East Side. I'll talk to like cover bands on Broadway too. I don't give a fuck. And like, good on them for making their money. It's not the same thing though.
Oh, no, Broadway
It's
is
not.
a hard gig. I have like nothing but like the hugest admiration for people who do that.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, those gigs are hard. And I mean, those musicians are unbelievable. I mean,
really
it's just like,
talented.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I say like selling a thing, it's like, Broadway is
Sure.
like, it's selling like an idea of country music, but like, or, pop or whatever. And, keeping people drunk and revelous and whatnot,
Yeah.
and ridiculous and whatnot. But no, I mean, that's absolutely not to say that those musicians are not like so seriously good at what they do.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Definitely don't think you were doing that, but I do
Yeah.
know people who are very snobby towards Broadway.
Oh,
And it's like,
yeah.
I
Oh my God,
think
one of
it's
my
like jealousy, like they're
absolute-
making
yeah.
money and like,
I know, no, one of my absolute favorite musicians in town is Joshua Hudley, playing at Roberts for like almost 20 years.
I love Roberts.
Yeah.
Have you ever got
Roberts is my favorite, yeah.
what is it called? The recession meal?
Is it the bologna?
The bologna.
Yeah.
I had,
It's a
so
classic, you have to.
I was having a real, like,
Yeah.
I fucking hate Broadway. I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I go like once a year, maybe. I was just
Yeah.
I went to a show at the Ryman the other night. So like, when you're at the Ryman, you're like, you go to the back alley. Like if you can,
Yeah,
if it doesn't smell like puke enough, that is. But yeah, you go around the back alley and the back entrance to Roberts is right there.
I didn't realize that. That's cool.
Mhm. Yeah,
Who'd you see at the Ryman?
Liz Fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look her up. I'm not
She
familiar.
was very important to me when I was
Okay.
when I was teen.
But yeah, I was having like there were some friends from out of town that really wanted to go, and like I went to Broadway with them, and we went to like Tootsie's and one other place, and I was having a like not a neutral time. I was having a bad time. I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it. And then my friend was like, hey, I know this is not your thing, but we got to go to Roberts. You got to do this. And that bologna sandwich and a PBR and a moon pie.
There you go. Changed your life.
It changed the yes. It changed the evening and it changed my life. Like I'm like, this is not a bad night anymore.
No, Roberts is the best. Roberts is totally.
It's the saving grace of yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I would love to sing there someday. I really would. I genuinely would. I love classic country, and I would love to fricking sing at Roberts in their universe.
Yeah.
I think AJ's is underrated too. I'm a big fan of the Alan Jackson one. AJ, there's usually like a very nice person who's playing a solo set up there, and they also have the Hard Capri Suns, which
that's awesome.
Yeah, which I think is just brilliant. So
Hard Capri Suns. Like it comes with alcohol in the pouch.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Alan Jackson's. If I ever find myself
if you
down
find
there
yourself
again.
down there again, and especially because they're all crowded and shit, but that one's usually like a little less crowded. Yeah.
So talking about New York again, you said it's kind of like kind of a competitive atmosphere there.
Yeah, it definitely can be, and I think it's everybody's just I felt like a lot of people had like an inflated like kind of sense of like like, oh, I'm gonna like we're gonna make it and we're not gonna be in Brooklyn for very long, like we're gonna be huge, and then that never happens. I mean, I think I played with like maybe one band on a bill that got kind of big. Maybe two. But not like big, not big and like like a not even like big in like a Queens of the Stone Age sense or like yeah, I mean it's like I think there's stuff there's the indie they tend to size each other up and it's like not necessarily
it's not realistic.
Friendly.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's but also that's also not to say that there aren't like bands that I adore there and spaces that are really friendly and have like a really solid like group base. We
were just talking about Castle Black. They're awesome.
Castle Black are
super cool.
So awesome. Oh my like one of my absolute favorite.
Do you know You Bred Raptors?
No.
They're out of New York.
Oh, cool.
I fucking love them.
Oh,
Every time they
nice.
come
Do you
to
know they're
town,
from the city or from upstate or
um,
like
I had
Rochester
Pete Raines on the
or?
show
Uh-huh.
about a year ago, and he was telling me that they do a lot of busking of subway stations.
Oh, really?
I think he at least lives in the
Mm-hmm.
city.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
but
I was
they,
never brave enough to do that. That's another thing I completely admire anybody who is brave enough to do.
yeah, check out You Bred Raptors.
I
They're super
absolutely
sick.
will. Yeah, I remember what there's a band called Pink Clouds. It's spelled like PINC and then Louds. So like
Okay.
pink clouds, but it's spelled like pink clouds.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, they would I would see them on like in Williamsburg up on North Sixth Street or down on the platform or
Yeah.
a lot. They're very cool. Like kind of like a lot of synthesized and pedals and
Oh, neat.
one man band kind of or one person band rather.
The band I was telling you about, You Bred Raptors, he
Mhm.
plays like I think he's got it's probably like a 6 or 8 string bass that he
Mhm.
takes a cello string to sometimes.
Oh, cool.
And they have a violin player
Oh, wow. Yeah.
and a drummer, and they
Oh,
all wear
nice.
masks and like
Oh,
very like
awesome.
cocktail attire, like suit
Oh,
and
love
like
it.
cocktail dresses. They're
Love
so
it. Oh, I
cool.
have to look this up.
They're very like swanky.
Cool.
Yeah, anytime I get a chance to see them, I'm always seeing them. But yeah, there's definitely
That's
some
awesome.
great talent out of New York
Oh my
for
God, yeah,
sure.
yeah, so good. Yeah, I can name hundreds, probably.
My producer, the guy who edits these videos, he something he says all the time, like that sticks with me is this is actually the hardest town to like cut your teeth in. Like people come here thinking this is where you go,
Mhm.
and it's actually the hardest place
It's,
because
yeah.
like
Oh, it's intimidating when you move
yeah,
here. And
they're
I think it
like
happens to everybody that moves here. You know, you come in, you're like, you're so excited about it, and then like you're like, oh my God, everyone's amazing. Like, how
yeah.
am I ever gonna fit in with this?
Well, you guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. No, it means a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of bands like us here, so it
Oh,
means
for
a lot.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great performance. Definitely
Oh,
check
thank
out
you.
I'm the Polish Army.
We'll be out and about soon, I promise.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
2024, look out.
Look, oh, yeah. And I am gonna put this album out, I promise.
It happens. We're like you said, we're all busy, we're all tired. So we unfortunately in this world we have to find and make time to
Yeah.
make the things that are important.
Mhm.
And it tends to be that we spend the most time doing the things that
Couldn't
we
agree
don't
more.
enjoy.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Hard segue.
Okay.
What are you most afraid of? I'm really putting you on the spot with some hard
Yeah.
questions here. Apologize.
Life falling apart.
Yeah.
Car accidents.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You get on 65. It's
Oh my God.
a realistic fear.
Yeah.
Do people drive better or worse here than compared to New York?
It's actually it's a little hard to compare
Okay.
because I mean it's definitely more chaotic in the city, but also like I was there last month and I played a show in Brooklyn and my friend Marlon played drums for me and we were driving to the venue together and he's like, it's actually kind of like, it's so stop and go that it actually makes it like easy.
Oh, that makes sense actually.
Yeah.
My sister lives in New York
Mhm.
State, and like when I go
Yeah.
to visit her, we'll go into the city, and
Mhm.
that's true to my
Yeah.
experience as well. Is like
Yeah,
kinda
you think it's gonna be like really awful, but like, yeah, I mean, it's not like, you don't really have to do, I mean, you do have to do like some quick like lane shifting sometimes, but like, and you also have to watch out for people crossing in front of you. That's that's definitely the scariest part is like, because people jaywalk all over the place. So it's, if someone pops up and that's.
It's a different kind of anxiety. Yeah.
And the bikes are really scary.
I was gonna say
That's
I
actually an
hate
irrational fear. That's actually biking is also biking in a city, like in a street, like not like mountain biking or biking in you know, in like on the beach or like something like that, but like, or in a vacation town, but like, yeah, biking in New York City or in any city at all. Like, I have a complete irrational fear of that.
Yeah, yeah. Here too, like when I see someone bicycling, I'm like, please don't like fall or something,
Oh,
or
yeah.
yeah. I don't know. It's pretty rational, you're right. I really can't stand the scooters we have here.
Oh my God, the
I
scooters.
fucking hate it.
I have a great scooter story though, which is the first time that I played here on tour, which was not me, it was a different band. Um, it was at the Five Spot, and this was like 2019 or so. And we played, and we're loading out, and all of a sudden, the women that have been bartending there all night, like, our van is parked like right by the door of Five Spot, like in front of the Hip Zipper, and the bartender comes out, and she's just like yelling and screaming at this guy, and I mean, like, it's on, and somebody dropped one of those scooters in the street, and she tried to like pick it up and like hurl it at the guy in the car. And then where's like everybody on the patio at the red door, like next door, is like, like, watching it like they're watching a
That was a victory
WWE
for
match.
Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pretty great moment.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What we talked about Roberts, Alan Jackson's. What are actually, let me ask you a different
Yeah.
question. What are the best places to go see live music in New York?
Well, right now, my answer is unequivocally Main Drag Music, which is a musical instrument store, but they have a venue downstairs, and I played there in November, and it was fantastic. The people that run it are just gems, and I really hope they stick around and have more great stuff to come. A lot of new spots opened up in Ridgewood, that I don't know very well because that all happened like when I moved.
Yeah.
So I know that there's some good ones out there. And in Manhattan, Berlin is a good one. It's like another like kind of underground basement. I'm partial because I have friends that work at the bar 2A upstairs, so I'm partial for that reason. There's another one called the Bowery Electric that our dear Jesse Mallon owns. And that's a really great one because a lot of musicians play there that like, were really, that have been part of like New York City music history for a long time. And, pretty much whenever you go there, you can see like somebody who probably played at CB's or probably played, on the same bill with like the Talking Heads or something like that, or Blondie, or, I mean, like, I think one of the last times I was there, like, there's just like, like random cover show, like, oh, Blondie's guitar player's playing.
Yeah.
Okay. Right there,
I imagine there's probably like a lot of like classical training there too, versus like
Oh, for
Nashville.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole world I don't know as well as I used to. I mean, my dad was in the classical music world, but like
okay.
that was one of my forms of rebellion, was like playing rock and roll.
What kind of music did you grow up with in the house?
All classical all the time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was not my mom liked the Beatles and some other pop bands, but like, yeah, my dad was very, very strictly only classical music.
That's cool. I like
Yeah.
that. Did that have an influence on you at all, you think?
Oh, yeah, a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I played classical violin as a kid.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
what does your dad play?
French horn.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
I've always I don't, but I've always thought about picking up like a horn of some kind. Like
Oh,
brass.
yeah.
Like probably like trumpet or trombone or something. But
Yeah.
I love brass instruments.
Yeah, learning the buzz and the embouchure is the hardest part.
I'm sure. Yeah. I
But
played
once
around with one for a minute.
once you get that down, it's
what do you think's easier, like trumpet or trombone? Because like one has the keys,
Oh
but
gosh,
the other one
I actually have no idea.
Okay.
My brother played trombone briefly in middle school, so he might have an opinion.
Okay. So classical music and Beatles, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good foundation.
I would think so.
Yeah. as you were becoming a teenager and then
Mhm.
an adult, like what were the first things that really inspired you?
Oh, definitely like 90s like riot girl bands and
Yeah.
I am quite proud to say that with my Wiccan mom, I went to Lilith Fair twice. When I was that was the infamous all female like pop and folk music festival. It was
Oh,
founded by Sarah McLachlan.
nice.
Of
Is that in New York?
no, oh, it was a tour. Like they
Oh, right
played
on.
arenas like all over the
That's
country. And
super
like,
cool.
yeah, and it would be different. Yeah, the bills would be like Sarah McLachlan, Natalie Merchant, Paula Cole, um, those kinds of, that total scene.
That's
So
sick.
yeah, which it was great. It was great. It was very, people make fun of it, but like, it made a huge impression on small me. And I saw Kristen Hirsch there for the first time from the Throwing Muses, who's like
Hmm.
incredibly important musician to me. And she was just playing on like like the tiny little stage. Like at the festivals, they have like, the main stage and they have like a smaller one and then you have like really little one. And yeah, there's Kristen Hirsch from the Throne, like the incredibly important Kristen Hirsch, just like playing solo set.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I love festivals. I went to
I haven't
one
been
this
to it in a
year.
long time. Yeah.
We have Muddy Roots like an hour or so from here.
Oh
It's pretty
yeah.
big.
Yeah, that's cool.
It is pretty cool. It's like
Mhm.
a three and a half
Yeah,
day
I haven't
thing.
been to Bonnaroo yet.
I
I
haven't
mean, I
either.
partly kind of like, oh, do I really want to
We'll
go to
skip
Bonnaroo?
Bonnaroo. I haven't seen a good
That's
Bonnaroo
good to know. It's
lineup.
good to know. I'm not
Yeah.
not alone in that sentiment.
No.
But yeah, no, my big ones were like Tori Amos, PJ Harvey, Liz Fair.
You like Joplin, obviously.
Oh yeah. No, yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't come to like truly appreciate Janice
Sure.
until later, but until like when I was in college.
I love
But,
watching those old hippie videos. Like
oh, I know.
those shows are
She
insane.
was so young. It
Yeah.
just
Tragedy.
it like drives me crazy, like seeing like those like videos of her and like really like she was so young.
She left everything out there when she
Yeah,
performed.
I know. And it's just like really like, it's just like kind of realizing that like, somebody was like, I mean, she was a baby.
One of my
Like,
favorite videos, if I can find it again, I'll send it to you. But one of my favorite things is the the lady from Mamas and the Papas.
oh yeah.
I can't remember her name right
Cass.
now.
Mhm.
Yeah, her watching Janice for the first time.
Mm.
It's such a like she's
Oh my
this like
God.
holy shit.
Yeah. Is that
Like
from like Monterey Pop or something?
I think so.
Yeah.
It gives me chills watching it because she's
Oh, that's
like
awesome.
you can see like all
I gotta
these
find that.
greats that were
Yeah.
like, I mean, obviously Joplin's in that list
Mhm.
too,
Yeah.
but like greats at her time
Yeah,
in her
yeah.
era being like, holy shit,
Yeah.
this kid's going places.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've definitely
Yeah. And she just had like no filter,
yeah,
no anything, just like, yeah, she just like did not give a shit.
it's
Yeah.
super fucking
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah. Such a badass.
There's like a lot of the greats, I love Amy Winehouse.
Oh my God. Yeah. Dude, yeah. I mean, Amy Winehouse was incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I was so upset when she died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hendrix is
Yeah.
obviously
Hendrix is
one of the
amazing.
greatest magicians,
That too.
musicians. That too.
Yeah.
Both of those things. Musician. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of the
No, Hendrix
greatest
blows
die
my
young.
mind. Hendrix blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was definitely doing like he was tapped into some shit. He
Yeah.
was doing ritual magic up there.
Oh my God.
Like
For
lighting
sure.
his guitar on
For sure.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this comes full circle. We were talking about how this
But that's
it's a
yeah, that's
spiritual
what yeah, but
thing.
that's the kind of thing that I feel like I'm almost like I'm trying to go for and like my stuff is just like, I want to make it like that kind of like doesn't necessarily need to be a spectacle, but it is like it's a very much like a kind of like ritualistic, like deep like
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
And a lot and a lot of the like Kristen Hirsch, I feel like does that. Tori Amos absolutely did that. And that's the stuff, the stuff that made a big impression on me when I was younger.
Well, y'all definitely emanate a lot of power.
Oh,
like,
thank you.
when you play. For sure. Yeah, that whole bill, I think it was
a great night.
Cassette Stress, Nahoda, y'all, and Castle Black, I think, was that bill. But
yeah, that was a really fun one.
Yeah, we do have a good community here.
We do.
Like every time I leave Nashville and go somewhere else, I'm like, fuck, I want to be home.
Yeah,
And
it's a really nice place to come home to.
Yeah.
Like whenever I would go back to New York after traveling, you're like, oh God, why am I here? What have I done with my life? But like every time I come back here, I'm like, oh, it's so nice here.
The cool hipster thing to do that I'm definitely guilty
Yeah.
of is to like I shit on Nashville a lot too.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do with your city.
Yeah.
But anytime I leave, I'm like, fuck, I want to go home. Um, when was the last time you cried?
Um, I'm not gonna tell you why, but it was about a month ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a healthy thing to do.
Yeah, it was very cathartic.
I cry a lot.
Yeah.
It's I release that energy because you got to do something with it. Art is the same thing, I think. And like you said, like there's nothing wrong with like a very upbeat, happy band.
Yeah.
But people need to experience the full spectrum.
Yeah.
And I think that art provides that in a
Oh,
way
for
that
sure.
like music, I guess,
Yeah.
provides that in a way that I love watching stand up, but like comedy is not going to provide that for you.
Yeah.
You know?
That's not what it's meant to.
And I know like you'll be able to relate to this, but like real art is not fun all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's a
Definitely.
hard thing to do. It's a
Mhm.
hard thing to create
Yeah.
because that takes something from you, and you got to really dig deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I did get a little bit misty at the Liz Fair show. You know,
Especially at the
which I was
Ryman,
not
it's
expecting,
crazy.
which I really wasn't expecting, but there were some, there were some parts of it that were just so beautiful, and you don't even like recognize it like on the original album, but there are moments in Exile and Guyville that are just stunningly gorgeous. Like the intro to Shatter is just like amazing.
Yeah. I love Ryman.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Ravens, it is a church for sure.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
church.
Yeah.
Because of there's a reason they call it the Mother Church.
It's been a minute since I've been there, but like there is something very profound
Yeah.
about being in that space.
Yeah.
It's very like it's not a small place, but it's very intimate somehow.
Yeah, yeah. You don't feel you never feel far away no matter where you're sitting.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I my dreams for the future, like where I want to take this is I'd love to open a club one day.
Oh, really?
I would love
Oh,
to.
that'd be so cool.
Yeah. I mean, like I started thinking about it. Like I've talked to like several people about this, and
yeah, it should be like an esoteric thing called too, or called sorry, club too, club called then.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, no, I started thinking about it. I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have any issues getting bands in there. Like,
no.
it would that'd be the least of the problems.
Right,
Figuring out who's gonna play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we talked about ghost stories. You said you do very much believe in other like around us, right?
Yeah, and energy fields.
What do you think about okay, so I used to ask people if they believed in aliens, right?
Oh,
but
yeah.
unanimously, every single person I've asked has been like, well, there's got to be life out there somewhere.
Of course there has to be, yeah.
That seems to be the answer, right?
Yeah.
So to tailor it down a little bit more, do you think extraterrestrials have interacted with Earth either in the past or presently?
Yeah, I mean, highly likely. Highly likely.
Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, there's well, preponderance of the evidence mostly, but I mean, you know, there's like our American ones, but I when in my late teens, my family went over to England for a little while, and I lived there full time for about a year, and we kept going back on and off. And my mom, you know, coming out of her Wiccan thing was like also really, really into ancient sites. And like, you know, you'll see like, I mean, we call them like crop circles here, but like there are these like, you know, and this is is so Spinal Tap, but you know, they have like
But
the
you're in the right place
the
to talk about
stone
it.
circles and
Yeah.
the like, and there's one where like they built like someone like built a horse out of chalk that's in the ground that you can only see from overhead.
Whoa.
And like, I mean, there's all kinds of crazy shit. It's like, how did this, you know, it's like the, you know,
Huh.
the classic Spinal Tap, no one knows where they came from, you know, it's like, it's true, it's true. Mhm.
That, yeah,
Yeah,
that I agree with you. There seems to be ample evidence for it, like recent and ancient.
mhm,
Like there's a bunch of ancient cultures that are like, hey, we saw this.
yeah.
And I think as a society, we like to think we're like evolved in some way
Mhm.
from ancient cultures. And it's like in
Yeah.
a lot of ways, they're a lot smarter than we are.
Oh, for sure.
Like a lot more like what's the word? They're resourceful.
Mhm.
Like we all have phones and know how to use them, but I don't know how to make that.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
I don't know how to make a tape. I don't know how to make
Right.
anything in this room actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it like ancient cultures get infantilized,
Oh,
like that
totally.
was like, but they had the same capacity for intelligence that we
Mhm.
do. I think like there's certain fields that we've made a lot of advancement in,
Mhm.
like the sciences and medicine. But then there's things like philosophy, which have not evolved a day
No, yeah.
since Plato or
I know, like I
Socrates.
was about to say, like the Greeks are still like the best at it.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't gotten any further than
Yeah.
they did.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we're evolving in some ways and haven't evolved in other ways.
Mhm.
It's a weird time. It's a hard time for a lot of people. I think everyone's feeling that right now. But I we just do what we can.
Mhm.
The community that we're all building here
Yeah.
is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Even if we can't control what's happening in other parts of the world, we can affect what happens in our immediate
Yeah.
surroundings.
Yeah.
So I think to make a change, it starts with you, and then it
Mhm.
starts with like your immediate surroundings and expands out. And I think you can make waves
Yeah.
that way.
Totally.
Emma, thank you so much for being
Oh my
here.
God, was that it? Really? Like, why is it so
I've
fast?
got a couple more questions, but they're wait, okay. Have you ever had your heart broken?
Yes.
In retrospect, looking back, was it love?
Yes.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot more written down, but hmm.
I mean, my first album is about it. Just go listen to it.
Yeah. What's the name of the first album?
My Old Man.
And what's the second album coming up?
The
Do
second
you have a
one is
name for
called,
it?
yeah, the second one is called Mating, and it soon, I hope. I just need to get a plan down. Yeah, I'd love to, you know, just, you know, well, everyone says like put a single out now, so so yes, I would love, I'm really trying to, you know, get a visual made for one song and then put that one song out there and, you know, see if people respond.
Yeah.
And then like kind of use that as like a, you know, just to get the ball rolling to.
There's a beautiful art to an album that's been kind of lost.
I really, 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 really believe in the album as an art form.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's
I miss that it's and I kind of like I stubbornly like hang on to putting them out, you know.
It's a catch-22 because on the other hand, there's a reason people are releasing
sure, yeah,
just
of course,
singles,
of
right?
course.
Like it helps. So
Even with the singles, I feel like they're just like getting shorter and shorter, you know, like I mean it'll be like people like these songs will come out and it'll be like verse, chorus, the end.
yeah.
You know, and it's like, especially like some of these songs are like really good, and I was like, you could have done like I wanted to hear more, like keep going, you know, like or like what happened to the bridge or
But for the generation coming
yeah,
up
I feel like
now,
yeah, like where's like what's the in the Led Zeppelin song, where's the bridge? You know?
yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Like an album is, especially when you listen to it like start to finish, is like
It's so rewarding.
it's a beautiful thing. I think the reason
yeah.
we're getting away from that is attention spans diminishing.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
people are more
I think
successful.
there's some that are like, there's always going to be some that come out that you really, really want to listen to
Yeah.
back to front. And still, I mean, like, the one that came out in 2020 was like obviously phenomenal, like totally phenomenal. But the Fiona Apple album from that was like the one before at the Idler Wheel, which is just it's just her and the drummer Charlie Drayton. And like I remember when I heard that like back to front, I was like, I wish I wish this entire album were like, I mean, I feel like this album is like a work of art that I get to hang up on my wall. Like, yeah.
Do you have any advice for like artists coming up? Like, I guess, yeah, just any general advice for people that want to do what you do?
Um, yeah, don't be afraid of writing with some or of writing like what you have conviction in. Yeah, don't just write what you think people want to hear, or what if or you know what's gonna play well. Even like even like with popular stuff, like the best stuff is just like so true and
Yeah,
universal, and just yeah, right from your gut. Yeah.
that's good advice.
Or if you're not a writer, or if you're a musician, like play from your gut too.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
play what you think. Don't necessarily play what you think you're supposed to play.
Even if that, you make a good point about even if you're a musician, because you can, like, even if someone else wrote a lead,
Yeah.
you could make that your own when you play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, intention. Like, why are you doing this? If it's to make money, you're in the wrong industry, because
yeah.
no one's making any money.
Yeah.
It's a hard time for artists to survive right now. So
that's why we have other jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I don't think we should be like ashamed of talking about. Like we have jobs. It's fine. Yeah.
Everyone I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just an unfortunate reality right now. I love that there's a lot of great music coming out, like even right now.
Oh my God, yeah.
But it also, because there's so much of it, it's really hard to get your name out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely count myself lucky. Like I'm not in music. Like I have a very much more niche thing I do. So
but I love,
don't envy the artists.
we need people like you so much,
Thank you.
No, it really means so much that like, for the people like you, like that really appreciate the music come out and see it and listen and appreciate what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, it's another thing that like blows me away about Nashville is like people actually listen to the music.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy.
Oftentimes you're playing to a room of artists, so
yeah,
they're like
no, I remember I played a solo gig in Frank with Year of October in Franklin. And that's the way that it's bar and then there's like the music room,
Cambros, yes,
right, yeah,
fucking love Cambros.
Cambros is awesome. Yeah, and so I was like setting up there. I was like, oh my God, for sure, no one's gonna come in here because like in Brooklyn, usually like if it's a bar with like the music room in the back. And like, the music room is separated and you have to pay a separate cover to get back there. No one's going back there, yeah. I mean, like if your friends are coming back to see you, they'll know, but like random people who are at the bar, they're not going back there. But like at Kimbrough, like everyone came in and they sat down and they listened. It was like, where am I?
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. People appreciate it.
Yeah, I still can't get it.
Okay, so what would you tell what a younger version of yourself advice wise, or I guess like what would you do differently?
Oh, well, I wish I'd known my astrology better. So
What's your birthday?
It's May 4th. I'm a Taurus, but I have a ton of Scorpio in my chart. So it's
Gotcha.
like I live I live on the Taurus Scorpio opposition axis thing.
Did you say May 4th?
Yeah.
My birthday is April 4th.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm an Aries, but I have a bunch of Libra in my chart.
Oh, that's like full moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's like, that's the oppositional axis. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of conflict.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely when I learned like how to read my transits, that definitely helped me. Like, oh, things are really crazy right now because this is going on. It's like, oh, okay, that makes me feel a little better. Yeah, but like, um, I mean, I think I wish I'd had like more outlets to like let go and
Hmm.
um I put a lot of like self-imposed limitations, that I didn't really know how to undo or fix or not have. And
Hmm.
yeah, I think those are things, but I mean, like, I'm glad I have those things now.
Yeah.
I'm glad I, if I have a hard transit, like I have a Pluto square transit right now and I'm rolling with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I do Qigong, which is like really relaxing. It's like Tai Chi. It's like the way more ancient version of Tai
Oh
Chi.
shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that like really, it's really relaxing. Just helps you get in the zone.
What is Tai Chi?
Tai Chi is it's a martial art, but it's a
Okay.
much like slower, more like controlled, like mindful martial art. And it evolved out of Qigong, which is like just kind of a more free form, but it kind of feels like I don't know if you've ever gotten Reiki or anything like that, but it kind of feels like you're like doing Reiki on yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that also a martial art?
No, no.
It's like expression or something?
Reiki is like an energy
Oh, I know.
work. Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
Qigong.
Qigong is no, no, it's more, I mean, the word translates to energy work.
Okay,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah, Qi is energy and Gong is like the work or the act or yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've never experienced Reiki, but I
Mhm.
have friends that are Reiki masters.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
it's
never
like,
really got into it because it's like you get it, but then like you can't really like use it I mean, like I didn't really figure out like if you could like use it yourself or like how
hmm.
to kind of like keep the energy going. But like
So
Qigong is like
Qigong,
you only have to do it like I mean even if you do it like 5 minutes, like you keep it going.
fascinating.
Yeah, it's
I'll look
really
into that.
interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of it on YouTube.
Right on.
Doesn't like with most things.
Okay, so outside of that, what do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah, that and yeah, I do like some movement. I got into like this like kind of like modern dance like movement practice. That's just like really great for like getting out of your mind and you kind of like they change up the choreography every week. So
Hmm.
it's like you always like have something to learn.
You have a lot of expression to release.
I
Like
do actually, and
yeah,
as you can see, I'm like small and like guarded and stuff. But like, again, I wish I had these things. Like, I mean, I
yeah.
can't even, like I wonder why, I had like so much trouble like reaching people when I was younger, and now it's just like I can kind of like I can see myself like probably being like, oh my God, they must have thought I was like so like such a such a guarded person.
Yeah, I was a very shy kid. And then
Yeah.
like I had that's something I learned. Like I also didn't know anything
Mhm.
because of my background. Like I didn't know anything
Yeah.
about astrology, for
Sure.
example. So like in retrospect, I see like Aries um is a very prideful sign,
Mhm.
but unlike, and I'm not shitting on Leos, but Leo is born that way.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like when it's a lion
Mhm.
cub, it is still a lion.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, attention is healthy for Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aries is similar,
Yeah, but you have to
but
channel it into like a goal. Like Aries
yes,
are really goal
yes,
driven.
that's exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not pride so much in myself, but like my accomplishments, like
Yeah.
things I've done. And I used to be like very shy and reserved, and
Mhm.
I learned later like that's a very Aries thing too. Is
Yeah.
like when you're born a lamb, and then you have to defend yourself, so you grow
Mhm.
horns
Right, yeah.
and you come into yourself.
I love that.
Um, and I learned. You ever seen Game of Thrones or read?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, all of it.
One of my favorite things. I think it's in the show too.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite parts is Tyrion is telling Jon.
Uh-huh.
You probably know where I'm going with this. He's telling Jon. He's like he calls him a bastard. He's like I'm not a bastard.
I know you have to do the Jon Snow voice.
You got to. And he's like, you don't know what it's like. And he's like, every dwarf is a bastard in his
Yeah.
father's eyes. I'm like,
Yeah, it's a
and
great
he's like,
line.
you need to. He's like, but I just call myself that.
Yeah.
You need to weaponize what you
Yeah.
are, and I'm like that like fucking hit me when I heard that.
Yeah.
So I've weaponized my insecurities. Like
Yeah, no, it's ruled by Mars. It's it's the fighter.
yeah, yeah. I'm very passionate person. I see issues in the world
Yeah.
that I have a very radical worldview about how we resolve these things. And if I this is not strange to Alice because she's definitely heard me talk about it
Yes.
before. But if I thought I could make a radical difference, I would. I would do whatever it took. And I definitely had those moments where I thought about doing things that I would have regretted. But realistically, I've come to understand that this is about all I can do.
Yeah.
I can talk about it.
But this is great. This is great. This is great. This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's just as an Aries, it's never enough. It's never nothing I do.
And it isn't for anybody.
Yeah, I guess probably an artist thing too. Like nothing I do is ever enough for myself. I'm a very hard critic on myself, but yeah, it's yeah, we just got to do what we can. Yeah, if you have any ideas about how to radically change the world, I'm all ears.
Oh yeah, me too.
But as I've figured out right now, this is about all I'm actually capable of. So yeah. Before we get the FBI on our doorstep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Emma.
Oh gosh, it was a pleasure.
It's really good talking to you.
Great talking to you too.
Check out I Am the Polish Army. They got new stuff coming soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed we'll have new stuff for you real soon this year in 2024.
And then I'll put a link to the album that's out now. I'll put it down below. Thank you again so much.
Gosh, thank you so much. That was such a Wisconsin thing to say. Gosh. Anyway.
Cheesehead.
Yeah.
All right, Alice. We'll see you next week.